How you feeling?
Feeling good, yeah. I walked the course a couple times watching you, so I feel like I have things mapped out, but at race pace, everything's a little different.
It's going to be a good day to have a great day.
It's a great day to have a good day, I'll tell you what. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is the Merced Criterium Pro Category 1-2 field. Hopefully you had a chance to check out the Category 4-5 commentary I did with EJ a few days ago. I won't spoil it, but EJ had an amazing display of strength. You have to go check out that race. Yeah, I won't say any more. I won't spoil the result. But this is going to be a completely different race. The way this unfolded, this may have been like the weirdest set of circumstances in any crit race I've done. So I'm really excited to do the commentary here. Let's set it up though. Let's talk about how this unfolded. So first thing first, just a quick note about the course. Merced is known for its really, really bad pavement, and there's this kind of technical section behind City Hall. You go back through this like alley, this chute, and yeah, you'll see in the race footage. But let's talk about teams. I'm on Team Mike Spikes. We brought two teammates. That is young, super talented Sean. We're going to have a lot to say about Sean in this race. And then, of course, Ryan, who is another really strong crit racer. So we really had our crit squad out today. And who are we up against? Well, there's a lot of strong guys, but I would say the most notable other team competition we were up against are the guys in the pink jerseys. That is Tayroon Elite. They also had their crit squad out. And there are also three of them. So this is an interesting matchup. It's a 3 versus 3. And what was our plan on Mike Spikes to win? Well, we had come from the previous week by going 1-2, an amazing result at Cherry Pie. We also just wanted to do another field sprint because that really worked out for us at Cherry Pie. And we knew that Tayroon Elite did not want that to happen. I was confident that they were going to be really aggressive and really try to shake things up early on in the race, make sure that we weren't going to come in to 200 meters to go and have a similar result like we did last week. So race plans are great and all, but the second they blew the whistle, they called a $100 preem for the very first lap, and all those plans were thrown out the window immediately. And I wish that I had the GoPro going for the first few laps because it was incredibly dynamic. Fortunately, my buddy EJ was on the sideline documenting the action with the longer lens camera. I think it's really important. I think we need to break down these first couple laps because this set us up for success throughout this race. Immediately, Sean recognized this danger of the $100 preem. There were guys that were just killing themselves to go for that $100 preem. Sean, very smart, followed the wheels, ended up getting a gap off the front. So that puts us in this great position as a team where now we have somebody in the early breakaway. That takes a lot of the pressure off. This, of course, elicited a response from the field. Everybody was trying to get across to that break. Ryan and I were kind of taking turns covering these moves. And eventually Ryan got in one, and I like the way Ryan said it. It was the last train of the day. That was the last train out of town. So now we're in even a better position where I have a teammate in the lead group, I have a teammate in the chase group, and I am back in the field as an insurance policy. I've talked about this on the channel before. As a team, you have to put yourself in race-winning position. So we had somebody represented, a potential winner in each group on the road. This is a fantastic setup for us on Mike Spikes, and I understand the urge. Every part of me wanted to jump across. There was a moment when the lead group only had like 4 or 5 seconds on us, and I knew that I could have just jumped across, but I would have sabotaged my entire team's chance at a result by doing something kind of foolish and short-sighted like that. So, yeah, good teamwork requires some discipline, and I sat back. As you can see, that lead group came together, formed this group of 8, which I think eventually became a group of 7. And I'll tell you what, like chasing all those early moves is no easy feat. Like I was still doing quite a bit of work, but eventually it settled down, and then it really settled down, and then the field eventually just came to terms with the fact that we were going to get lapped. So about halfway through this race, I'm checking back. I realize that, hey, we're about to get lapped. I fall to the back of the peloton. By the way, stoked that we're about to get lapped because now I can finally do something and contribute something to my team's success. And I'm preparing myself back here for that moment when my teammates make the final bridge and complete the lap. And that's where we pick up action on the GoPro. You can see in the rear cam, here they come. This is Ryan. He's just going to attack straight on through, the man who never gets tired. And now it's my obligation as their teammate who's been lapped. Like just for clarity, like I am done. Like my race is over. My only role now is to facilitate their win. That's Sean. Ryan's up the road. He's already probably second wheel because he's that fast. I'm going to get up next to Sean. I said jump on. So I just want to bring him up to the front and just make sure that he's staying in the shelter as long as possible and he's not missing anything, because really now the race is down to 7 people. That was the lead group that's lapped at 7 people. Ryan has jumped off the front, and this is where it gets really interesting, because now Ryan is off the front and he's pulled this group of like 3 other riders with him. None of them are part of that original group.
Don't chase, don't chase, don't chase.
And that's why I'm telling Sean here, don't chase. I just want to make sure he knows that there's nobody else up there with our teammate Ryan who was part of that original group, so we are fine letting that go.
He's the only one that was in that break.
Yeah, I'm telling Sean right there, he's the only one that was in that break. So therefore we can let it go and let all the other people who are in that break have to chase. Like for them, it's like the panic button needs to be getting pushed right now because the race is getting away. If Ryan can just break away again, basically lap again, it's over. I see the boys in pink here on the right. They're leading their guy out just like we did. I'm pointing at it frantically for Sean. I try to get Sean up to speed. There he goes. He's going to follow that move. This is where the race gets really dynamic, because I've read your guys' comments, and it sounds like other districts, other countries especially, when the field gets lapped like this, they just the officials just pull the rest of the field out. Nuh-uh, not here in the United States. When the field gets lapped in a crit race like this, it gets really dynamic. The strategy becomes really complicated because you have to start to consider, hey, do my break mates have any teammates up the road? Do I have any teammates up the road? It might be the case that you don't want to lap if your competition has a bunch of teammates up the road. So it gets really interesting. The race almost reshuffles. So this kind of begins chapter 3 of this race. You guys like my analogy, so I'm going to use it again. So chapter 1 was like the crazy flurry of attacks to $100 preem. The breakaway was established. Chapter 2, we all sat up, waited to get lapped, and now we're about halfway through this race. We've been lapped, and now this crazy shuffle between the 7 riders who are actually racing for the win. Everybody else is only racing for 8th place, and we're going to see some crazy bike racing strategy that you hardly ever see. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so this is just a few laps later. Sean is going to hit the front. He's going to attack on the right-hand side here. I drop wheel, and I move over to the left here. You see this Velo Kings rider looking back. This is Mark Tucker, absolute stud, by the way. Shout out Mark. Going solo in the earlier Masters race for the win, but unfortunately, he's up against Sean and Ryan in this situation because Mark was, in fact, part of that original move, and I am under no obligation to stitch that up and bring back my teammate. Remember, guys, don't chase teammates. So I obnoxiously just get behind Mark's wheel and force him to do the work. You see Ryan's up in a good position. And it's going to be important from here on out just to always be extremely mindful of who's part of that original group of 7 and who was not, and then find out ways to make sure that my teammates are represented up the road in a favorable ratio. Hopefully we can stack yet another breakaway. Okay, a couple laps later, another flurry of attacks on the front. Both of my teammates are up there, and I have Mark again in my wheel. His Velo Kings teammate is up here trying to stitch it up. He doesn't quite make it. I'm going to do something so annoying. I apologize, Mark, but I'm going to take him off the back is what it's called. I'm going to try to sprint across this little gap that's opened up in order to try to drop Mark. Tip of the cap to Mark, by the way. This is me being obnoxious, but this is also like Mark's a threatening rider, so I'm trying to get Mark tired. But damn it, when you look at that guy in my rear camera, he's just too strong, and he ends up clawing his way back up to this front group, which, by the way, now look at it. Now we're down to like 6 riders in this race. I think most of this group was part of that original group of 7. It's me, it's Matt from Tehran, and then I think that's it. I think everybody else in this group was part of that original group of 7 that lapped. So we're going to start another series of laps. The lead riders are going to lap the field twice, but I'm going to do everything in my power. Like I said, my role at this point is just to make sure I am helping my teammates, making sure that they're sheltered until the very end of this race. I'm giving Mark a, hey, you're stubborn, dude, and I'm also giving him a congratulations on the earlier race. But as I was talking, things are going down. Sean, man, this kid is so talented. New athlete on Team Mike's Bikes, 18 years old, off the front for the second time. Solo. He's up there solo. And I'm like, this is a bit bold because Sean has a very powerful sprint. He also is an extremely capable breakaway rider, as he's demonstrated in this race. He's a very good bike handler, and he's just very efficient. We're going to talk about his power profile. There's something very interesting in his power profile we're going to talk about at the end of this race. But blam, there goes Ryan, launches up to join his teammate, and I'm celebrating like a jerk. But I'm happy for my teammates, and I just love seeing this. And now it's like, well, what am I doing, right? I'm just sitting in. I'm following these wheels. But there is some obvious desperation going on, people trying to chase back. The two leaders who happen to be my teammates, who also happen to be part of that original breakaway of 7 that lapped the field. And this is like the critical moment in the race. Well, actually, it's coming in about 20 seconds here. So let me explain what's going on from my perspective, because when people are chasing really hard like this and you're in the draft, it feels really good. And every instinct you have is like, oh, I need to sit in, I'm saving energy, the competition's getting tired. And that is 99.9% of the time the right thing to do. But also the right thing to do is you always need an answer to this question. I've talked about this on the channel before. It's part of the masterclass. It's a big part of success in bike racing. Any moment in the race, you have to ask yourself, what am I doing and why am I doing it? And in this moment, I am sitting in and saving energy for what? What is my purpose? I'm not going to race for 8th. I don't care about 8th place. I care about helping my teammates get 1st and hopefully 2nd as well. And I'm not doing them any good sitting here. I'm not doing anybody any good sitting here, except maybe my competition. So that's when I decide I need to get up there with them, even though this is absolutely 100% a kamikaze move that is like self-destruction. Like it's never a good idea to attack when it's going fast. But on the bright side, I did have the sheltered side of the road. I waited for the tailwind section, and I did the NorCal slingshot that I've talked about so much. And I am just using all of my energy left. I'm emptying the tank here to get up to my teammates. Even if that means I take one pull, that's better than me sitting back in the group, because that's better than nothing. Me sitting in the group is contributing nothing to their success, and they're obviously very committed to this move. So when I get up, I'm glad I made it. 175 beats per minute, and this is another kamikaze move, is when you're absolutely in the red like I am now, taking a really hard pull into a headwind like this, like way over threshold, it's 550 watts, I'm not giving myself a chance to recover. The better move under 99.9% of the circumstances is to take a breather, get your heart rate back down. If that takes, a half a lap or something, that's the right way to do it, because then I can contribute more. But this is such a critical moment in the race, because if there was any doubt what we were up to on Team Mike's Bikes before this moment, it's all gone now. Everybody in the back of the chase group knows exactly what's going on. We are, as a team on Mike's Bikes, 100% committed to this effort. So that's why I'm just going all out. And that's also, by the way, why I absolutely nuked it to get across to them. Under no circumstances could I bring anybody with me. That would have defeated the whole purpose of all of this, and I would have screwed the chances of my teammates. And I know, never chase your teammates. Almost never chase your teammates. There are very rare circumstances where it's okay to chase your teammates, and this happens to be one of them. And that's because there is this phenomenon in bike racing, out of sight, out of mind. So like if I can pull hard enough to break the spirit of the chasing group, hopefully get out of sight, that's really my job done. Like I am going to go as hard as I possibly can, which lasts I think three pulls to give them every advantage that I can. I completely emptied it. I can't remember when I've been this tired, and it wasn't the end of a race. So I limped back to the start finish, and I watched the final couple laps unfold and watch my teammates completely boss the field, coming in 1-2. What a crazy set of circumstances. What a crazy race. And Sean, this kid, guy, look out for this kid. Remember the name, Sean Strachan. He is going places, and we're going to do some pretty amazing things this year. So thanks for hanging in there, guys. Oh, wait, actually, before we go, I want to talk about his power. I want to do a quick breakdown of how impressive this was for a couple of reasons. So let's start by looking at my effort in this race. I averaged 25.8 miles an hour. In order to do so, I normalized 321 watts with an average of 290 watts of power. But here's the thing. Lower power with a higher rate of speed is more impressive in bike racing, right? So if we pop over to Sean's numbers, normalized power of 265, average power of 255 for a higher average speed, because they lapped, of 27 miles an hour. Now, I know Sean is a smaller rider, so that's definitely a consideration. That's why we need to look at the variability index, which is your normalized power divided by your average power. In other words, it is how smooth and efficient were you riding. Remember, slow is smooth, smooth is fast. The lower the number, the better. Sean had a very impressive 1.04, which on a course like this is quite impressive. He was very smooth. He followed the right moves. He took good corners. I, on the other hand, have had a very unimpressive 1.10, marking those attacks early on, chasing my teammates later on. Not the best race for me, but it was what was required in order for me to contribute to my team's success. So thanks for hanging in there, guys. Leave a like for my boy Sean. We're going to do some pretty cool stuff this year. And as always, I'll catch you in the next one.